Welcome back, Pythoneers. Before concluding this week, I want to talk about error handling, so we have a basic understanding of it before we move on to situations where we will start to need to use them. Now, sometimes when we create our programs, we will encounter, different kind of errors we have seen in previous videos, like import error, model not found error, or name error, or when didn't pass arguments error to functions, a lot of things, or when we expect a user to give us an integer input and they give us a string, we're trying to convert it to an integer and, well, it crashes. So when that happened, the program, it crashes and it would stop running, which is a poor experience for anyone using it. So we can handle that, and we have a construct called try and except. So say I want to do something with a number from the user. I get number input, enter an integer, just example. And then I want to, I can say user inputs, let's call that. And then I want to convert it, so I'll separate them, even if we can put them together, user inputs. Now if I run this and I type ABC, for example, we get the value error. So what we can do is we can wrap this around. If ABC is entered, a value error occur. Now I'm gonna just copy that and comment that. So what we have this construct called try and except. So it's similar to if and those. We have 4 indentations, 4 spaces, and then I can put this in there. Of course, for this one I have to do it manually. So anything inside this try, similar to if or for, will in this case it will be wrapped. It will catch the error. Now we could catch all kind of errors, which is not very efficient or clear, but we can do that and just pass here. And here we could say you entered number if it worked, and if this didn't work, that is not an integer. Try again. And then we'll see what happens. Now we can remove this pass. And then let's run it. Enter an integer. If I run 5, it works. You entered. We run this line by line. First, we get the input. Then we try to convert it. No error occurred. We come to step 3. But if I now type ABC, we get this error. So what happens is when we come to line 6, when we're trying to convert it and an error occurs, we skip this line and we jump into except. We print this message. Had all of this worked, we just skip except. That never happens. So we'll be later at this point. And as we saw here, except covers everything, and sometimes you will see code like this, except exception. This is the parent of all type of errors that can occur. So it's not very specific. So it will catch everything, but there are different kind of errors. But we could also figure out with that by saying as, and we see this like import when we give it an alias, and some will call it E or some will call it error, and then we could print the error. And then we can see, I can even do this. So we have here error, and then I'll do error. And then let's run it, and let's type ABC and see what we get. Error, invalid literal for int with base 10, ABC. So it can be a bit helpful. Now we could add another error. See, we could say we want to catch a specific error. Starts to remind us a bit about if, elif, and else. I want to catch a value error, which we saw occurs when we did this situation above here. And I don't need to get it as a variable. And then here, like I said, that is not. You can do this, but I'll say this is from value error. And here I'll say exception, just so we have a difference. And now if I run this, and I say ABC, we get an exception, not the value error. We're looking for that. And here's another thing about these kind of constructs. The order matters, similar to if, elif, and else. The order with the elif and if matter. So what we would have to have done, would have had to done is move this up there. So this is caught first, because in this situation, this catches all errors, and a value error is one of all of those. And there's a big hierarchy of different ones. So this occurs and we just skip. We're done. We go. So to resolve this, we move this. Let's see, let's do that. I put it there. Now, do it again. ABC, value error. So it caught it here, and we don't need to go through this. So you will see these kind of constructs, especially when reading files and that, or when we're working with networking. Then you might have the typical errors first, and then you might have this at the end just to catch that, but also to know what it is, and you might log that somewhere on a server so we can investigate when we're developing different use cases. So you saw the order matters, and this is very useful in many situations. The primary being, if the program doesn't crash, the program is much more user-friendly, and we are prepared for unexpected situations, which we all know users will write something wrong. You can ask them for enter an integer, and they will try to break you. Will try, what if I type in my name? So we can handle this in many different ways. For example, you might have had a user input function. I think this is a very useful situation. Say you want to get the user to enter a value between 1 and 100. We can say get, I'll go with a bad name now, just get user input and keep it simple. Take all of this, and I'll have the while true here. And I won't let them exit until they oops, put it in here. There's the problem with the copy paste. And then I think these, there we go. And then these after that, there we go. Yeah, if it worked, then I can return number. I'm getting it. If not, we shall continue until they did. So for example, let's do our construct this with a name, so you're right. Gotta get used to this. Name. And then here I want an integer. I just got integer to separate from the other names. Get user input. And let's see, yeah. Get user input and the print. You enter. Let's see, integer. And we can then remove this because it doesn't matter. So yeah, let's try. We can remove this, we don't care about that. We can simplify this. Unknown, we can say here an unknown error instead to be more helpful to the user. They don't need to know about value errors and unknown errors. We see how we design to be friendly. And we can see now, let's do a new window so we get clear. Enter integer, ABC. That is not integer. Try again. Okay. Let's see, dot. So it will keep running. It will keep running until I get it. And then 5, and now it finishes. Now this might not be the best design. We might want a way to exit. So you might have constructs like this or queue to exit. And then before we convert it, we might say if user input equals to a queue, then we can just say return none. And this input just doesn't just return an int. We see it returns an int and none, and then we can handle that, and we can say if integer is not none. Sorry, none. When we say this was a larger program, we might have said that they maybe we went back, go back to main menu or quit program, whatever situation. For now, we do nothing. And then we can run it again. So ABC, error, catches, do it again. 5, we exit. Try it again. I type Q to exit. Program terminates as we have designed it. And then maybe we would say enter an integer between 1 and 10. Now this isn't really error. We can create custom errors as well, but that's too complicated for now, so we leave it. But instead we can come to this point. So this is only if we want to exit. And before we return the value, we could say if number is do another construct instead of doing the long one. If number is less than 1 or number is greater than 10, Then we can say print enter only number between 1 and 10, try again. And then we do continue, so we don't have so we just go to the next one. We don't want to return the number, to skip that part, because this is not an error now. This is an expected behavior. So for example, if I run this now and I type 0, enter only number between 1 and 10, try again. Okay, 11 there. So if I say 10, then it should work. You enter 10. So that's one way of doing it. So yeah, this is error handling at the basics. You can catch errors for different cases when we're expecting a string. No, we're expecting a number and we get a string. Trying to convert. Another use case, if we had division, and if we divide by 0, we can get error. So we said we had this def divide function, and let's say we got our x and y, and if we did return x, y, and y was 0, this will cause a divide by 0 error. So we could have done a try here, also an except, and then divide, I think 0 division error, they call it 0 division error. And then we could have done none, or we could have printed something. We could handle it in different ways. So yeah, we have a basic understanding of error handling. The order matters when we're comparing. We don't need to catch all. Maybe just interesting on value error. We can create a custom ones in the future. We'll see that. Yeah, and how we can handle as the requirements change as well. To be friendly and useful to the user, or custom conditions. Until next time.